In today's video, I hope it's going to be so helpful. We're going to do something kind of twofold. First, we're going to talk about how to put ribbon on a tree. And second, another question I get asked often is how to decorate a skinny tree. And I got a skinny tree here for you that we're going to do. So we're just going to hop right into this. Don't forget, if this is helpful and you enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up. It is so helpful for my channel. All right, let's hop right into it. So first and foremost, no matter what tree I'm decorating, whether it's a large size, a skinny, I always do the top first because I feel like once I start putting other things on, I just risk knocking them off trying to get to the top. So for me, for this little tree, I'm just putting on this little white star and a few extra little embellishments. Let's talk a little bit about these picks. Let me get this star up here. So anytime you go to put extra things on skinny trees, you know, picks and that type of thing, one of the things that you're probably going to have to do is you're going to have to cut off the big long stem that comes with it, because there's nothing a little more tacky than you go to put picks in and you can see it sticking out the other side. So one of two things, you're either going to cut it, or if you don't want to cut it because you maybe want to use it on, you know, say like a bigger tree later and you feel like you're going to need that length, you can always bend it. And so those are the two things I recommend for a skinny tree when you're going to add in extra picks. So I'm just kind of giving the tree a little bit of a symmetrical look. I just feel like it just gives, I don't know, it's like pleasing to the eye when things are symmetrical. And I'm not saying that it has to be, because sometimes it's fun to be whimsical and just kind of put things a little bit haphazardly. But for me, I feel so much better when I just have some symmetry happening. One thing I always have to do, no matter what size tree I'm using, I have to step down and look at it. I have to get far away, see if there's anything I need to rearrange, and then move on. While I'm doing some picks, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in a few more going down that just kind of match what I already did. And then that way my picks are done and I don't have to worry about them. But they are great space fillers. They are also fantastic for making your skinny tree seem a little bit more grand, a little bit more elaborate, because you can actually add a little bit of, you know, dimension to it by adding these in. It kind of brings the tree out a little bit and makes it seem a little larger than it actually is. So now that we have kind of the base of everything done on our tree, the top, and then just a few picks, let's get to the ribbon and get to the ornaments. Okay, I have this 2.5 inch wired ribbon. And what I do is I get out my little tape measure, and for this skinny tree, I'm going to cut these 18 inches long. That way I have consistency and everything's pretty much, you know, the same length. So just cut these 18 inches long. Okay, now that we have our ribbon that's 18 inches, what you're gonna do, everyone always thinks this is so weird, but this does an amazing job for me. Take the ribbon, place it over 2 fingers, and hold it down with the ring finger. So it's going across like that, because this one's holding it down. Take it and wrap it around your entire 3 fingers. So now it's wrapped around, does a really great job. So here's the cool part. The inner one is already being held by that other finger. So you just take this end and then you can just go like this, and look, it's nice, and it's obviously very tight right now. Don't worry, we will loosen it up. But now you have the cutest little spongiest, you know, spiral ribbon to put on your tree. And I will say, I don't normally dovetail or anything the ends of this one. I just feel like with the spiral, it just looks better just keeping just kind of that square end. And then I just put it onto the tree, and I use the tree to just clip it in. Most times you can just put it back up in there, and then you can adjust how like tight or springy you want this to be. I always think this is so pretty and just gives, I love saying the word whimsical because I feel like that's the word of the video. Okay, that's so cute. So that's ribbon idea number 1. Let's move on to the next one. I just had to hop in here and tell you guys that Foreo's Black Friday sale is live, and oh my goodness, the sale is too good. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know how much I love my FAQ 202. This is a FDA cleared silicone LED face mask that is clinically proven to give you amazing results, and I can testify to that. Skincare has become one of my top priorities. As I'm aging, there are things that drive me nuts. Fine lines, wrinkles, dull looking skin, red looking skin, sunspots, all the things that as we age, it just becomes more and more apparent. So I started really trying to figure out what could I do to help, combat all of these things. So with the FAQ 202, my favorite is the NIR. That is the setting that I feel like I use the most. But the cool thing is it has 8 different wavelengths. So it has something to address any of your concerns, whether yours is like mine or maybe something a little different. The best thing about the FAQ 202 is I can use it anywhere. I can be doing the dishes. I can be folding the laundry. I can be reading a book. I can watch TV. One of the things I don't want to have happen is I do not want this to get caught in my hair. It does not do that. It does a fantastic job of going on your face, fitting perfectly. It just forms to anyone's face perfectly. And then you just tighten it up in the back and you're good to go. Pop it on. I love it. It'll turn itself off when it's done. And I know I'm going to have the best results. Plus, it makes the perfect present for yourself or a loved one. If you've been thinking about giving it a try, now is the best time. Their Black Friday deals are live. You can get 35% off. Plus, if there's already something on sale, you'll get an additional, and some things you can get up to 50% off. All you have to do is use my code CHARMS35. I'll leave a link down in the description box. You're definitely going to want to check it out. Your skin will thank you. And a big thank you to Foreo for sponsoring today's video. This next one is so perfect for when you don't know how to make bows. And bows are complicated and no one wants to do those. So here's the end of the ribbon. I'm just gonna leave probably, 6 inches right here. I'm going to then make just a little loop. Just a little loop. We don't need to be complicated. We're not even gonna try and make a bow or anything. And then bring this up and then just make a second loop, okay? And depending on how big your tree is, how big you're going to make these. So obviously we have a skinny tree, so we don't need to be like super big. And then I'm going to do one more. We're not twisting, we're not turning, we're not doing any of that crazy stuff that everybody always wants us to do when we make a bow. And that's it, okay? Now you're probably like, what the heck are we doing with that? Well, look how cute that is already. So then go ahead and cut the end pretty much equal to your other little tail over here. And if you want, we will like clean up the ends of that just to make that look a little better. All right, so this is what you have right now. Now this is what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use pipe cleaner because that's what I have. I never get too hung up on what you're supposed to use, what you're not supposed to use. So I'm just tightening it. Now you have this cute little ribbon that I always think looks like ribbon candy. I said that a few years ago and many of you agreed with me. So now you can just put this into your tree and we'll trim these little ends and it kind of looks like a bow. But yet we didn't get complicated. We didn't make a bow because nobody's got time for that. So then you can just put this into your tree and I'm gonna use the little pipe cleaner to attach it to the tree. I do wish that I had green pipe cleaner, but I don't, and that's okay. I can still mask this and make us not be able to see it. It'll be okay. Oh, that's really cute. And you guys are kind of getting a side view of it, but oh wow, that's adorable. Let me move the camera over. Okay, there. Now you got a front view. That is so cute. So let me trim up the little ends. And I feel like I always see people do this and they make it look so simple. And when I first began doing any type of bow or ribbon, I was so confused on which way to cut. So let's slow this down for just a quick second and I'm gonna show you. Because what if you're new at this? Like everyone is new at some point. So when you bend the 2 ends together, always cut from the 2 sides you put together, not the side that bended. Is that even a word? Not the side that bent. So the 2 sides that put together. So then put them together. There, I moved over here so you can see better. So we got the 2 sides that are put together and then just do an angle. And please have better scissors than I do. And then you will get the cutest little dovetail there. I love that. And that just finishes it off so nicely. Let's do this one. So remember, put the 2 sides together, and where the 2 sides are together is the side you cut from. And then you have this, look at that, that's so adorable. Now look how pretty that is. That looks so fantastic. Okay, let me give you another ribbon idea. So I have this pretty blue velvet, and it is, let's see, this is 1.5 inches. And then I'm gonna use that same ribbon that we've been using. It's just been a great example, and it goes nicely on my tree in here in my dining room. So this one's 2.5 and this is 1.5. And I cut them evenly at 18 inches long. So nice, and there you go. A lot of times people want to know, how do you just put ribbon on a tree that isn't in a bow or spiraling, and you just want it to like drape into your tree? So one of the things I like to do, because one, I think this is so pretty when you add the velvet over the sparkle. So basically you're going to put it in, and then where you're going to pinch it and put it in here. And then that way it's draping down, and it gives you that nice little kind of magical flow. And what I like to do is then take the ends, and I will do the little dovetail cut, so it just looks very glamorous and, you know, really put together. And like I told you before, make sure you bend it in and cut from the side that you put together. There, now you have identical matching little dovetails here. Should lay nicely. And this is a great space filler for your tree. I'm just using the tree to keep it in. You don't have to get overly complicated. I am totally just using the tree to keep it in. One of the things I want to make sure that you do, see how mine's just kind of coming like that? I do want this to kind of bend and have that little bow flow is what I call it. Yes, there we go. A little more like little roundedness to just lay more natural, like it's coming down the tree. Okay, so we've talked about picks, we've talked about different ways to do some, you know, ribbons and bows and cheating on making bows. Let's talk about ornaments. So as you can see here, I'm doing this skinny tree just like I would a big tree. We kind of already said that, but don't feel like just because it's skinny, you have to do it any different. And don't worry, I only have the 3 that we gave the example, but I am gonna fill this in, but I wanna show you how to do some ornaments on here. Because a lot of times I feel like people just, you know, use the little thing that comes with it and then they just hang the ornament. But there's better ways that you can do it. You can use the little thing that does come with the ornament, but I want you to then wrap it around the branch. And what I mean by that is I want it to look like it's just coming right off the branch and not necessarily hanging down. So I always like bend this little wire around, and then that way it just will like, I don't know, be a little bit nicer. And then, so you can't really do this so much on a skinny tree, but make sure you're getting your ornaments really back up in there, and you have a mixture of ornaments more deep in your tree and out. That's for a regular size tree. I have to admit that with a skinny tree, we kind of have to just leave them more on the outer edge because they just don't go back up in very nice because it's very skinny and tight. So that's one way to do an ornament, is where you wrap the thing around and it comes very nice and close. So one of the things that you can use instead of using, you know, the little ornament thingies, I mean, we all have that, which works great if you do it like I did, where you wrap it around the branch and you don't even see it, but use some velvet ribbon. Like I have this pretty blue velvet ribbon. It's just kind of thin, and I think this will look really good with the ornament. And then just switch it out, put it through here, and then tie that on the tree, and it'll just kind of give it a little bit more classier look. And then I do just flip it around to make sure that like the velvet is being seen. But I think that looks so pretty, kind of softens it, give it a little bit of elegance. Lastly, I'm adding in just a few little ornaments that I have other than the round bulb ones, and I'm kind of doing a deer theme in here because it always makes me think of my dad. I also had these pretty little gold ones because I'm trying to give this tree some sparkle. And there you have it, a beautifully decorated skinny tree with lots of fun different ribbon options. We have picks. Of course, we have our adorable star topper. Look at the beautiful glow of this tree. Oh my goodness. And I love how, see how the little velvet of the ribbon stands out even when all the lights are off, the filming lights, and you just have your twinkle on. Just gives, oh, such an elegant look, and I love it. Love this tree. Definitely will be opening my blinds back up so everybody can see this. I just had it closed because it was hard to film with the lighting with it open, but this looks so beautiful. I hope you guys found today's video super helpful. Thank you again to Foreo for sponsoring today's video. We will see you guys again next Sunday. Bye-bye.